What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex, and in this video, I want to review Persona 5. That's right, 4 years late. I think we're actually very close to the 4-year anniversary of this game. And I didn't do this for the 4-year anniversary. This is a bad year for games so far, and not the games that have come out, because what games have come out, some have been next to not very good, and some games have been actually pretty darn solid. Okay, there's been actually some pretty good games here, but there's no hiding the fact that 2021 has been a very terrible year, I'd say, overall for gaming so far. And so that's led a lot of people, I think myself included, big time, to go back and clean up their library of games. Well, I stumbled across, I didn't stumble because I knew this game was here, Persona 5. Now, Persona 5, not Royal, not Strikers, literally just Persona 5. And the reason is I bought this game day one when it came out 4 years ago. Now, technically, it's been longer when it came out in Japan. I think it came out September the previous year, but it's been 4 years since it's come out, in the U.S. and pretty much everywhere else. And I bought this game day one, and I played, I think, like 7.5 hours. I checked my save file that I had 4 years ago. 7.5 hours is pretty much where I was. So I experienced a little of it. I dipped my toes in, okay? I got a little bit wet. And I love pools and I love water, but for some reason I just took my foot out and never went back, okay? Well, I went back. And I restarted this game and I played 88 hours and I beat the game. And this is a phenomenal game with very few complaints. And what complaints there are can really be, I would almost say, pushed away. I cannot believe how amazing, mainly the characters. If I were to pick one thing about Persona 5 that I just cannot get over how much I love, is the cast of characters. It's, when you spend 88 hours into a game, okay, and you can spend longer, and I get Royal adds, I believe, 2 characters, and they give, like, Akechi more time and all this stuff. When you spend 80, 90, 100, 110, 120, somewhere in that realm. Really, I'd say, you can spend even a little bit of time with a character and learn to fall in love with them. But when you spend 88 hours with a character and with characters, it's insane how amazing this cast is. Really, every single one of them. And what's interesting is, I keep saying the runtime of how long I played the game, but a lot of these characters, they stack. Futaba, you don't get in the very beginning. An, you don't even get in the very beginning, right? Ryuji's kind of the first one. Yusuke comes in, Makoto comes in. All of these characters, and you learn to love them, I'd almost say, at different times, because a lot of them are kind of dependent, I would say, love on how much you spend time with them when you're like doing your day-to-day activities. I think you will get general love and appreciation for these characters outside of that, but some of them get elevated by how much time you spend with them. So the characters are literally outrageously good. I can keep saying it over and over, right? But I would end up just saying the same thing. I don't know if they're my favorite characters like in any game ever. Okay, I have a real big fascination for like Uncharted and like Joel and Ellie from the first Last of Us, and there's like Commander Shepard if you want to go down RPGs. There's some really, and those are just some. Kratos. I may stick with like PlayStation characters, but these characters I do think should be in a top list somewhere of like the best characters in a game, like the best cast overall, because there's really not any weak characters, I'd almost argue, in the entire game. They're all so detailed. They all have such a personality to them. And obviously, a lot of it's just reading, so that's a little bit different, obviously, than if you're not used to playing JRPGs. And then obviously they do have the English voice from time to time, but the character's amazing. The story is really, really good. I think the general idea of the story, even as you go throughout the entire game, and the messages that the game goes through are incredible. The ending, I would say, in terms of like a weakness, it does feel like it kind of has, it's like one of those movies that like it ends 5 times and just keeps on ending. Like it has an ending, then has another ending, then has another ending. That's kind of like this game. And so I would put that as a weakness. I knew the game was long. I'm not saying like I felt like it dragged, because I really don't think it dragged whatsoever. It's a long game, and you're not going to be able to just sit there and say, okay, today's the day I'm going to beat it. Because if you have like 10 hours left, well, chances are today may not be the day you beat it, right? There may be more boss fights. There may be a big cutscene that has stuff that still has to do. So there's a lot in the game, and I think especially mainly after like the Akechi stuff. And I would even argue like after the Shido stuff. Once you beat Shido, it is like, okay, it wants to end, but but then it doesn't, and then it does, and then it doesn't, and so back and forth, back and forth. I mean, the final boss is like incredible. What you do with your persona is incredible. Like, all that stuff is amazing. Saying goodbye to Morgana and then saying goodbye to everybody, and then even the final cutscene at the end of like you driving to the beach. Like, all of it is beautiful. And like any additional time I got to spend with any character. So like I romanced Ann. So like when she wanted to talk to me, like a month before you leave, and then the day you leave, like when it's just her and you, it's like, yeah, you know what? I will take any additional couple minutes with these characters as I possibly can because I love them so much. You know what I mean? But I would still say it's like, okay, well, when does the game actually want to end? So that was kind of a push-pull. The combat, I mean, my dear God. The combat's not going to work for everybody, and I don't even know who I'm reviewing this for. Could be people that have already beaten the game. I know there's a fascination with these kind of games, especially people playing them far after the fact. I love the combat. I'm a big fan of this kind of the system, I would say, of it. It's definitely not for everybody, and I think many people would be immediately turned off just from the combat. I mean, that's kind of, I think, why safe mode maybe exists in this game. But it's challenging. It is rewarding. It is in-depth. There's so much to kind of think about, and yet you kind of do get in a rhythm with a lot of things in the combat. It's really good. It's really good. It got annoying when it would get, like, really hard. At the same time, you could argue that's a lot of, like, my fault. Like, I was under-leveled for, I would say, the majority of the game. Maybe I wasn't doing the Persona fusions right, maybe early on, and that kind of messed me up later on in the game. I mean, I would say if I messed up towards the end of the game with feeling like the enemies were just destroying me, kind of my own fault. Maybe I didn't go into mementos enough. Like I said, maybe I was under-leveled, all that stuff. But I did what I thought I had to do in the game. I spent a load of time with a lot of different people. I tried to get as many, rankings up as I possibly could. I tried to max out all of my, the 5 kind of knowledge and all that stuff. And actually, I only got 5. I only maxed out guts all the way. The rest of them I got to 4, and I think some of them I would have gotten pretty close to 5. But I feel like I played this game as much as I wanted to. I got the most out of it that I possibly could. It's just so good. It's so good. I'm going to miss... It's hard to say because when I'm recording this, so you guys are seeing this much later. I'm recording this the day after, so I beat the game last night when I'm recording this. And, like, it's so special to me now. I think it's going to feel like a bittersweet, or like it's going to feel maybe even sad as the days go on, because it's like, I'm going to have to play other games now. I mean, really, I took a break from it to play It Takes Two. But besides that, every single day, I've played Persona for an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours, somewhere in that range. I would try to play it every day to just kind of knock off some of the time of it so that I could beat it, right? And now that it's done, it's like, okay, I have to play other games. And over the next month still, I guess like 3.5 weeks, there's not much coming out. So, like, I have to go back in my back catalog for other games. Like, I don't even know, like, if I play Death Stranding, am I going to feel like, wow, this is inferior? Or even when new games come out, when Resident Evil, when Returnal, I'm going to be like, you know what? I miss Persona. Now, final thing I'll say. I know what you guys will say. Play Strikers. I probably will. I'll probably wait. We're spending a lot of money on, like, the personal side of our life. We're moving and all that stuff. So what I think I'll do is obviously there's a lot of new games coming over the next couple months. I'll play that. If there's a lull in the summer or if there's a lull in the fall, I'll buy Strikers and I'll play Strikers. I want to go back. I want to go back. I want to see Joker. I want to see Ryuji. I want to see Ann. I want to see Makoto. All these characters again. I love them. I love them so much. So I will go back in. I will buy Strikers. It's not a matter of, like, will you buy it? No, I will. It's just a matter of when will I buy it. Okay, so everybody calm down with that. I don't really think I'll play Royal just because, again, I already own this game, so I played it. I don't have another 120 hours to just throw at Royal, and I just beat this game. So, like, most of Royal is the same as this. So, like, I'd be replaying the same thing just for additional stuff. And again, to throw 120 hours, I mean, that's a lot of time to just use on that game when obviously because of the channel and just because of my personal interest, I like playing a lot of different games. So I'll probably skip Royal, maybe watch like the additional scenes online, and then just go for Strikers. Again, maybe in the summer, maybe in the fall. So, I mean, I don't give scores, but maybe like a 10 out of 10, maybe 9 out of 10, just because the ending kind of drags a little. The fighting can get annoying when you're under-leveled. So maybe I'd say like a 9, but I don't give scores. I love this game. it probably would have been my game of the year in 2017. It's probably the best game I've played in 2021, okay, or maybe over the past couple years. But again, scores, I don't really do scores. Love the game. Biggest thing is definitely the characters. I mean, one of the better casts I've ever seen in a game, period. So let me know, guys, what do you think? Have you played it yet? Have you not played it yet? I guess if you haven't played it yet, I'm terribly sorry because I spoiled a little bit of this game, but I wouldn't even say all that much. Let me know where you guys stand on Persona 5. Let me know what I should play next. I know you guys will say Royal or Strikers, but is there any other games maybe like Persona that I maybe wouldn't know about? I play Danganronpa. I love the Danganronpa game, so let me know in the comments below. As always, make sure you guys are subscribed. Make sure you guys have the bell icon turned on so you know when all these videos go up. If you want to support me in any of the other social media stuffs that I have, and I did say stuffs, that's right, in the description below is all of it. I have a Twitter, I have a second channel, I have a Twitch channel, and I have a Discord. If you guys want to follow or join or subscribe or whatever to any of those four, would greatly appreciate it, okay? Thank you all for watching. I hope to see you all on the next video.